Yes. Welcome, everybody. Talks for the People, episode 25. We've been doing this for 25 weeks, guys. This week, Steven wants to see how many famous movie quotes me and Cody can guess. We're going to give you a quick recap on something we touched on last week, and we're going to tell some crappy car stories. We're going to go over things that we don't do that are considered mainstream. And then we're going to round out today's episode with a little bit of stuff Steven wants to talk about your daily life and how you choose things. That being said, how y'all doing, guys?
It's a swell afternoon. Swell indeed.
Nice brisk day. I like it.
Like the tea?
No, the brisk tea is horrible.
Brisk tea is horrible. We live in the South. The only correct answer to homemade sweet tea is Red Diamond.
I don't drink tea, so.
Before we get started, did y'all before we hit Burns real quick, did y'all happen to watch that video I sent y'all from Twitter? For all the gamers out there, Verdansk has been nuked. Verdansk is no more. We about to get a new map, boys. We're gonna have to explore that.
I'm excited about it.
I mean, once you beat it, I mean, it's not that great. So it's time to move on.
That's right. We did get our number one.
That's right. Time for a new map.
I mean, I will point out that was on Rebirth Island, and we've never won Verdansk because we suck.
Accurate.
My gosh, Alan, you know, sometimes you just don't want to talk, okay? You just want to keep it to yourself.
All right, Cody, well, you go first. What's burning your biscuits?
Oh, gosh, I completely forgot mine. Oh, so what burns my biscuits is people that order all this food and then only eat like a quarter of it. That burns my biscuit. Like, so I ate with a friend a few weeks ago, and he ordered an appetizer and like the large plate or whatever, and he ate like, you know, maybe a quarter of the appetizer, and then he ate maybe a third of his meal, and he's full. I'm like, why did you order all this food if you're not gonna freaking eat it?
Well, look,
and this person does it all the time. Every time I eat with him, he does the same thing. He always orders all this food and then he don't eat but a little bit of it.
There's two places I think this is semi okay to happen. Number one is Olive Garden 10 years ago. And I say 10 years ago because Olive Garden is pure trash now. Their whole menu tastes like shit. They hired some new body to redo their menu, and I'm not going back. I've been there once since they changed their menu. They screwed up the one dish I liked. There are no more chances. They suck. But you go in there and have unlimited breadstick and salads, and I mean, you eat 3 bowls of salad and 15 breadsticks before they finally get their slow ass to bring you your meal out. I can understand taking half of it home. The other place is Mexican restaurants, because sometimes it's busy there and you've already eaten 7 baskets of chips and salsa by the time you get your food. So
accurate.
But I'm not talking about the freebies. I'm talking about ordered. You got to pay for this. Order an appetizer, eat a few bites of it, then you order a meal and eat a few bites of it, and then you don't even take it home. It's like,
oh no, that's trash.
That burns all of our biscuits.
Yeah, no.
Cody, I hate to say it. I know he's your friend, but that's a shitty human being.
You at least take that shit home. That hits me on another different level. I'm a cheapskate. If I've got 3 bites of steak left, I'm asking my waiter or waitress for a to-go box. Like I'm going to eat this shit later. Like I'm not wasting money, especially on food. You can ask these two guys, they'll tell you, I don't let nobody throw food away. Hey, you want this half-eaten hamburger? Fuck yeah, you're not throwing it in the trash.
That's so funny.
It's I mean, I always eat all my food for the most part, and then like it's funny if I go out and eat with my wife and if we go out with my parents, it's like I end up so stuffed because my wife's gonna give me half of what's left of her food, and then my mom will be like, I don't want the rest of the steak. She just put it. She don't even ask. She just puts it on my plate. Like, well, I ain't being defeated today, buddy. So here I go. Yeah, that burns. That burns my biscuits.
I've got one quick one just because I've experienced it twice in the last 2 days, and that's goddamn rubberneckers on the road, especially when the accident is in the opposite lane. This has no impact on your driving. Keep your eyes on the road and keep moving. You're going to cause a wreck looking at a wreck. Keep moving. I drive home. 65 North had a car on fire today. 65 South was stopped because everybody wanted to look at this car on fire. Keep moving. Not impacting your life. Keep going. We got people to do and places to see.
Show.
You got anything this week, Steven?
So
I did it on purpose, Cody.
I know.
I need to be specific about this because I encountered a lot, but it's only specific occasions. So the what burns my biscuits is what I like to call headphone courtesy. And this isn't where you're wearing headphones in a place where you have to interact with other people. But for example, the gym. If I go to the gym, I don't know you, I don't want to know you, I don't go there to know you, I go there to lift weights. If you see headphones on my ear, don't start a conversation with me. And like I said, it's 100% different when you're at a place where you know you're going to be interacting with people, and then you were specifically going to a place like the gym where it's like, I'm not here to talk with you. So, and I've encountered this a couple of times recently because I run in my neighborhood, and I will run past people that I got the headphones, the wires that like either go across the back or the middle, they connect together. They are wireless, but they connect together. So I mean, it's not something that's like, well, I can't tell, I can't see because I got these big things on my ears right here, and then they connect, and then I'm holding my phone like this. But I walk past people all the time, and they will be like this far away from me, and be like, "Hey," I'm like, and I keep going because I'm like, yo, you see me in my jam. Don't knock me off with, oh man, weather's nice today. Get out of my face.
No, especially at the gym. I mean, that's why we have unwritten, like unspoken gestures that you know what somebody's meaning. You've got a barbell sitting by your feet, and somebody goes, "Hey," and then you give them the thumbs up, or you say, "No, I'm using it," and conversation's over. I mean, like that's what that's for.
I'll say this, it's the worst during football season because I'll be lifting weights, and then a fan of another team will come up and be like, "Do you see the games this weekend?" I'm like, maybe I'm listening to it now, but you interrupted me. But yeah, so that burns my biscuits.
All right, quick and easy this week. We all got them out. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move on. This week, let's play this little game you got put together. Let's see how many movies me and Cody can name from these famous movie quotes.
All right, so I have 30 listed out, and I have 15 that I believe are a shoe-in. Even if you haven't seen the movie, there's a very good chance you've seen it. The second ones probably aren't super tough either, but I feel they're a little more difficult, maybe not as big of a movie. So I'm going to go down them. I'll go through the easy 15 that y'all should be able to be like, oh.
So are we doing this game style, or are we doing this just knowledge style?
I don't suppose we have to do it games because both of y'all probably aren't as into movies as I am. Y'all are more music guys, right?
And movies specific, like horror,
There's
thriller, and all
movies in there, Alan. So you'll probably be like, "Oh, I got it." What about you, Cody? What type of movies do you? Or you're not a big movie watcher?
I mean, I am, but I watch everything though. I don't.
Okay, I hear you.
Style, so
So like I said, a lot of these y'all should be like, I'm pretty sure I know what that is, even if you don't have it on the tip of your tongue. So here's the first one. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Godfather.
There you go.
Here, this one should be another one. Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
And that's Wizard of Oz.
Ayo. Okay. May the force be with you.
Star Trek.
Oh God! You're about to get murdered by
Harry Potter.
So, for those of you who haven't lived on this planet, it's Star Wars. I know they were kidding. The next one, E.T. Phone Home.
T.
Trek 2.
Pete's Dragon. No, E.T. Extraterrestrial. The name's Bond. James Bond.
Which movie do you? Which one do you want me to name?
I mean, pretty much all of them, right?
Yeah. So, okay. I mean,
that's the first one we ever heard it on. Dr. No.
Do what?
I'll go with Dr. No since that's the first one we ever heard it on.
That is actually that is the one that is on the list though. So well done. If we were playing points, you have bonus points. This one, it comes from a movie we just talked about. There's No Place Like Home.
Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going multiples from the same movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this one is legendary. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Jaws.
That's it. Jaws. Another legendary. I'll be back.
Terminator.
The Terminator. All right, this one's your genre, Alan. I See Dead People.
Oh, that's Sixth Sense.
Yep.
Not as good after you've watched it the first time.
Accurate. That's one that you watch one time and it's amazing, and after that, it's like, it's all right. The next one, It's Alive, It's Alive.
Oh, Frankenstein.
Yeah, well done. Here we go. Houston, we have a problem.
Apollo 13.
Yep. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Oh, I know this one.
What is the name of the movie?
The name of the
Dirty
movie is,
Harry?
yeah, Dirty Harry.
Yeah, well done.
That's it. That's it.
Here's another classic that even if you haven't seen it, you've used this phrase towards a friend at least once in your life. Say hello to my little friend.
Scarface.
Yeah. Here's another one of your genre, Alan. Here's Johnny.
Oh, that's The Shining.
Yeah. This one's another repeat movie. Hasta la vista, baby.
It's Terminator.
Yeah. All right. So those are the first 15. Pretty quick and to the point. I think the other ones are I feel that y'all could still get most of them. They're just a little tougher. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Oh, that's Gone with the Wind, and I've never even watched that movie.
Yeah. And for those of you who are the quite a bit younger generation, the movie came out in 1939. So
my mom was a fan. My mom was a fan. Jamie likes it. I've never watched more than 15 minutes of it, but I know that one.
Yeah. It's a classic. Show Me the Money.
Oh, that's Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, it is. Woo, woo. I'm so proud of y'all. You Can't Handle the Truth.
Oh, that's yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
Right. I feel this one might be tough unless you're in I'll give you a hint ahead of time. It's a sports movie. If you build it,
That's Field of Dreams. An excellent movie.
This next one probably should have been on the easy list. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Castaway.
Get out!
Oh, it's so close.
It's Forrest Gump. Come on. We're not
This one's a repeat movie. You Had Me at Hello.
Ooh. It's one of the older movies? I don't know that one. Is that... I don't know that one. I'm not even going to guess. I'm going to look stupid.
Same movie as Show Me the Money.
That's a classic line from that movie?
That actually makes the top 100 movie quotes of all time. Of course, different lists will have different ones, but that is number 52 on that one.
Okay.
And honestly, for us, it's probably not a big deal, but for the romance, when he walks in at the end of the movie and he's like, "You had me at hello," and just swept her off of her feet, that's probably why it made the list, because the romance nuts probably ate that up.
My favorite scene from that movie is when Tom Cruise and the little kid are in the back of the cab or the back of the car. They're going back and forth. Where the kid's like, "Did you know the human head weighs 7 pounds?" And Jerry and Tom, and they sit there and throw facts back and forth. That's one of my favorite scenes from that movie.
That is an epic scene. There's no crying in baseball.
What's the name of that movie?
Is that's not
League of Their Own.
Okay,
Yes,
there you go.
Elementary, dear Watson.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. Get your stinking paws off me, you damned dirty ape.
And is that Planet of the
I know I
Apes?
heard that on Austin Powers, but
Yeah.
It is Planet of the Apes. And
okay.
it wouldn't surprise me if something like that came up on Austin Powers.
No, it did. He said it on Austin Powers, but I figured that wasn't the original place for it.
The next two should probably have been on the easy list. I'm gonna have to do a second one where I put really tough ones on there. But My Precious.
That's Lord of the Rings.
The next one is a martini, shaken, not stirred.
Once again,
Probably
which one?
Dr. No.
That one specifically is Goldfinger. I feel the need for speed.
Fast and Furious?
Nope.
If you get technical on the name, I'm going to slap you tomorrow.
I was inverted.
Oh, that's fuck, it's Tom
Top
Cruise
Gun?
again. Top Gun, yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised that one didn't make the list. That was an epic line. Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Dirty Dancing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I'll get you, my
my
pretty,
wife's
and your
favorite
little
movie.
dog too.
It's Wizard of Oz.
That was the third one from this movie on the top 100 list. If that doesn't show you how popular that movie was. And the final one is I'm King of the World.
Yeah, that's Titanic. Leo.
So I'll get another list together and we'll do it on a later podcast, but I'll do it more difficult next time. So now you know what to expect. Dun dun dun.
Sounds good. Let's go ahead. We're jamming through this week, y'all. Some of us have other stuff to do tonight. We apologize if we feel like we're rushing too fast, but we're trying to get these down to a solid hour for you too. We know we've been dragging on again. So that being said, we touched on it, I believe it was on the last episode, and I had a good one I thought of, and I know these two brought it up, but crappy car stories. Tell me a story about a crappy car you have driven, the outcome, what it led to. Tell me some stories. Who wants to start?
I can, I suppose.
Go ahead.
So I only got the one because I've only had one ultimate. I mean, I've had some crappy cars, but I've had one just that really fits the description. If you see it going down the road, you're like, oh, that's a POS. And it was my first car. It was a 1989 Chevrolet Cavalier. I was the only person in school that drove a car their age. I was like,
you know how many people probably share that same vehicle as their crappy car?
I love it.
Like everybody I know that's had a Chevy Cavalier is like, that thing was such a piece of shit.
But you know what? It has a special place in my heart because it was my first. And it was baby blue. All my friends called it the Smurf. So like I would get random phone calls while I was driving. I was like, hey man, are you downtown? I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? They're like, I just saw the Smurf go by. Stuff like that. But the story that's associated with it is because it was such an old car, it definitely had its ups and downs of pooping out on me. Well, what makes this a crappy story is that I was going on a first date. And we're sitting there driving along, and I pull into the movie theater, And what makes it worse is as I'm turning into the theater, I hit the brakes and the engine cuts. I'm not even out of the intersection yet, and the engine cuts. And I am panicking. I'm like, yo, she will never see me again. Like, this is, we haven't done, I picked her up and we just pulled up in the theater parking lot when the car cuts. And I'm like, yo, this sucks so bad. We still have dinner after this too. So so surprisingly enough, I mean, it was short and sweet, the story about the car specifically, but we go to pull in, the engine cuts, and I'm stuck in the middle of an intersection that I got to push my car out of the way into a parking spot. Now, I mean, it was only about 10 feet because the intersection and the theater parking lot was like right next to each other. But it was so embarrassing to have to be on a first date and your car just craps out on you while you're driving up to where you're going. And I'm like, no.
I take it you didn't get any that night.
No, and I tell you why. It's because my dad had to drive from home and come pick us up to take us to dinner after that.
Oh, that's horrible.
So we started off in my car, and then we got chauffeured around by my dad, and I was like 17. I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. Why?
Oh, you almost you had a chance though of getting one of those girls that have been like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
And whether you know it or not, you know she was telling all of her friends at school.
Right? Yeah. How about this guy? Old boy over here. His piece of shit crashed in the parking lot. Like didn't even make it in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, God.
All right. Well, you want to go ahead, Cody, and let us know about yours?
Sure. The one I had was it's either a 99 or a 2000 Oldsmobile Intrigue. And now actually in its day, it was a really good car. My dad bought it when he started carrying mail, and so he bought it used, and he run the wheels off of it, carrying the mail. And anybody that knows has somebody in the post that carries mail in their family knows how rough it is on vehicles and stuff. And he also drove it to Hoover for 2 years, carrying the mail in Hoover. But so anyway, by the time I got it, it was pretty, it'd seen better days. But it was a good car. But it went downhill fast. So I got it when I was started college, and first thing that went wrong with it was I slammed my door too hard one time, and it knocked the window off the track. So I didn't have any money, so I went to this place I was getting my oil changed at, which is one of these quick lube places. And I'm like, hey, do y'all have anybody that fixes windows? And of course they're like, oh yeah, Jose, he fix it. I'm like, all right, Jose, let's go. And that thing like is like going up, I'm like, oh my god, this is all.
Did you have to do that thing where you pulled it up to get it started?
Yeah. And then when you be going down the road, it just drop like a little bit. You have to push it back up. She had this big handprint on the window. So I didn't roll that window down anymore. And then at some point, uh, later that year, the passenger back seat window messed up, and it fell off the tracks. And I didn't want to pay to fix it, so I took a hanger to get it to stay up. I took a hanger and stuck it down between the window and the little rubber seal and hooked it. I made a little hook out of it. I stuck it in there and I hooked the bottom of the window and I tied the hanger to the overhead handle to hold the window up.
You rigged the fire out of that.
So now I don't have either one of those windows works. Well, the air didn't work in the car.
Oh God.
So for 2 summers, I drove with the passenger window down and the back the driver's back seat window down. So I had like this wind tunnel, and I would drive like this, in with my head over. I go in the middle of the car trying to get the wind. It was so bad. And then with the problems I had on that back window that I had tied up with a coat hanger, that door leaked, started leaking. So if it rained a lot, when I got in my car, like my back uh place where you put your feet and the floorboard would be underwater. Like it's above the carpet. It's like this deep in water.
God.
Like, oh shit, so I got like these sham wows, and I'm I'm out here like scooping it out, So finally I'm like, well, I wonder if there's a plug in the bottom of it. So I cut the carpet out of the floorboard, and there's a plug in the bottom of the car, a little rubber plug. So I would pull it when it was going to rain, and where the water would just go out into the
Oh my God.
Yeah.
the outside. It is so bad, man.
I haven't even told my story. You win.
It was, and then it would overheat all the time. I mean, and the trunk, the hydraulics went out in the trunk. So you would open up the trunk, and if you opened it all the way where it kind of set back, it was fine. But if you ever bumped it or whatever and it started to go forward, the hydraulics didn't work. So just just slammed.
Take fingers off.
We went to golf practice one time, and my buddy Tyler sat on my like on my back bumper to put his shoes on.
Oh no.
They just come down and just crashed right on his back.
Oh.
It was
God.
bad. It was bad. That poor car. Yeah, and the funniest thing was I had in the height of that car's pitifulness was while me and my wife had like a 4-month hiatus. So I was trying to like go out and date, and I had this I got this coat hanger holding up my I'm like, it's I want to take your car, it's like they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like like, you don't want to take mine. It was interesting. But
Yeah.
that it's funny how you look back on that stuff, and at the time it wasn't funny. It was embarrassing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Look back now, you're like, man, that was funny. I'm glad I did that because that was funny stuff.
Right.
Oh. Well, God, y'all actually had crappy cars. Mine was pretty crappy, but my story has to do with my negligence, but it led to a funny moment and an angry moment. So I had a 1980 something Plymouth that used to be my dad's that I was driving as my first car. Now, backstory to me, never have been, never will be a car guy. Didn't know jack shit about cars. Still don't know jack shit about cars. Don't give a shit about cars. I want something that looks nice to my eye and gets me from point A to point B. So I was driving this 1980 something Plymouth, and the best part of it was I had put an aftermarket CD player in this thing because this was the days of carrying the big 200 CD binders in your back seat and get to a red light and trying to flip real quick when you wanted to change music. So I had that. Well, keep in mind it was summer in Alabama, and I noticed that little needle on the heat gauge started climbing up. And I was driving down down Lakeshore Drive, right there in front of the Walmart, headed towards Bessemer. They had just completed the Lakeshore extension that goes all the way down to 150. So I hit red lights and I start seeing that needle go towards the hot, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit. And my brain immediately thought, okay, the one thing I know to do is turn on the heat. somehow your car is running hot. You're supposed to turn on the heat, and that makes it not go hot. I still can't wrap my head around that one. I guess it's blowing the hot air off the engine. That's why it works. I don't know. I told you, not a car guy. So that works while I'm at the red light. Well, I get past the main part, the busy section of Lakeshore, and I'm on the newly completed Lakeshore extension. All of a sudden, I'm driving, and I start feeling ka-chunk. Driving some more, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. The car just starts like jumping. I look in my rear view mirror. I'm billowing black smoke out the back of my vehicle. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, something is wrong. So I pull over, and I notice that the black smoke is now coming out from under my hood. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I pop the hood, I walk around to the front of the car, lift the hood up, engine's on fire. I'm driving down the road, engine is on fire. And so, oh shit. And then I run away from the car, and now we all know how a fire works. What I've done now is the worst possible thing you can do, because it was an old Plymouth. It was an old Plymouth. It didn't have the little kickstand. The hood held itself up, so I didn't close the hood back down when I freaked out and ran away. So now my car, whole front of my car is just like this flaming inferno. Now, if y'all ever doubted my dedication to my number one passion, once I fully realized what was going on, what do y'all think my first instinct was? What was my first thought?
Go to the trunk and get my bass out of the trunk.
Get your got your CDs.
I ran back into that flaming ass car and got my binder of CDs. I said, if I'm losing everything else, I'm not losing my CDs. So I went back into that car, got my CDs, then ran back another like 25 yards because I was still stupid, 17. Like, I didn't know if this thing was going to explode. I didn't know at that point, like, gas isn't like in the movies, you know? I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought my car might explode. So that's the funny part. But here's another part that led me down, kickstarted another part of my life where I kind of took a right turn, left turn off the path. So I'm still going to church at that point. And this happened on like a Friday afternoon. I get to church Sunday, and I have no fewer than 3 people come up to me and say, "Was that you on the side of Lakeshore 2 days ago?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, I thought that was you. I'm glad you're okay." So these people that go to church was 90% sure it was me that they saw on the side of the road. My family on my dad's side grew up in this church. Everybody knew who I was. They are 90% sure this was me on the side of the road, and none of them stopped. And let me know that they saw me and didn't stop. That's where I started getting a bad taste in my mouth. Then
That's so rude.
There was a whole other debacle that went on in that portion of my life, but that's one of the things that kickstarted it. So not necessarily a crappy car on my story, my own negligence, but it's still a funny story overall.
Well, Alan, I feel that it's only me and Cody's responsibility to let you know that if we see you, we will stop.
I'm not stopping.
No, look, it already happened. That when I had my wreck about 6 months ago, somebody from work said, "I thought that was you that was in that accident we passed."
What? People so rude. I will say this though, Cody reminded me of one thing. I believe it. Cody reminded me of one thing when he was telling his story about when he closed the door and the window fell. So, anybody has ever driven an old style car, you realize that it's not made of carbon fiber. Them doors is heavy steel. And I know Alan, especially driving a 1980 something Plymouth, that door was heavy as balls. So, and it just so happens to be another date story. I can't believe I forgot it. But so I was going on a date with somebody, and where I parked my car was on the side of the road, but it wasn't just like a curb with flat ground. It was a curb that led up a hill. So if you open the car door enough, you was catching ground with the door. What made this moment so funny is that, being heavy, you got to really push it to get it all the way open, especially if you're like on a slight incline, which the car was. So the person on the other side of the car flung the door open and it got stuck in the ground. So I'm like, no, don't worry, I'll get it. So I walk around the car and I'm pushing on this car, embarrassing the fire out of myself because I can't close it either. I'm just like, just straight 2 arms out, legs pushing, like, I'll get it closed, don't worry. The only way I could get that thing closed is by turning the car on and driving off so the door would slide against the ground and pinch closed. It was ridiculous, but it was such a funny moment because I was like, I can't get that door closed.
All right, we will go ahead and move on to our next segment that we are calling, for sake of show notes, Outside the Mainstream. Steven, you brought this up. There's a few things you do that you feel like everybody else does that you don't partake in. Why don't you kick this one off?
So, something that kind of sparks it is I see a lot of people, and then of course on Facebook, there's a lot of people who don't participate in TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, never had a TikTok. My wife has a TikTok. Alan has a TikTok. Y'all should follow Alan. He's posted a couple videos himself. Cody, do you have a TikTok? So I don't have a TikTok. But as of right now, if there's one app you should have, TikTok is probably it. Everybody has TikTok. So I made a list of things that I feel, I could be wrong at some of them, are mainstream, that if you have not done this or don't do it, you're probably outside the loop, so to speak. For example, I don't have a TikTok. I know Alan doesn't have a Facebook.
I do not have a Facebook.
So definitely outside the mainstream kind of thing. But TikTok was one. I have not seen all the Harry Potters. I've seen like the first 4.
What? Hold on. No, hold on.
Exactly. That's the reaction I'm talking about.
Hey, I want you to tell all the people what one of your dog's names is.
Hedwig, which apparently is Harry Potter's owl.
And you haven't and you haven't seen
the one you missed. The one you hadn't seen, the first one.
I haven't. I've seen like the first 3, maybe 4, and then after that, I haven't watched the rest. But those reactions are perfect. Those are the exact reasons I brought this up, because I know there's people like, what? You haven't seen Harry Potter? Go back to communist country China, you jerk.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure everybody in China has seen all 7 Harry Potters.
That's probably accurate as well.
Technically 8 if you're going by the movies, so that I don't get called out.
It's like a part 1, part 2 for the last movie, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I still have to watch them. It's not that I don't like them, I just haven't watched them. The next one is Breaking Bad. Probably not as mainstream as Harry Potter, but I have not seen. Somebody has suggested it to me, and I just never had the. Let me go check it out. It didn't spark my interest, and I might check it out one day. But
you need to. Now, my one TV show that would be yours is Breaking Bad. Mine is Sons of Anarchy. I know it's a good show. Millions of people have talked about it. I've never started it.
Sons of Anarchy is amazing.
Mine would be The Walking Dead. Never seen an episode.
No, after season 3, season 3, it went to pure shit. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're on like season 8 now, and like 2 seasons ago, it got difficult to watch because it was less about zombies and more about people fighting people, which we see too much in daily life as it is. So I was like, I'm not watching this no more. But yeah, that's a good one. Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy is amazing. And I know all three of us have seen it, but if there are people out there who haven't watched Game of Thrones, watch season 1 through 5. Season 6 is trash. Don't worry about season 6. On a serious note, watch all of it. But Game of Thrones for the first 5 seasons is absolutely stellar. And Fast
We're
and
gonna have to have a
Furious. They're
debate
about to
sometime on that.
do what?
We have to have a debate on that sometime. Season 6 is good.
Is season 6 the final season?
No, season 8 is the final
Oh,
season.
I'm sorry then. I take back what I just said. The final season's trash. Everything leading up to season 8 is phenomenal. Everything.
that.
The storytelling, the writing, the acting, everything for 7 straight seasons is amazing. Season 8 hit, and they literally took a dump on the script, smeared it, and said, "All right, here's what we're reading." It's that trash. But anyways, don't get me started. That final season really just.
It's aggravating.
But and another thing that kind of brought this topic up is they're about to come out with Fast and Furious 9. I've only seen the first 3. It stopped being about cars and racing and started being about all this other stuff, which isn't a big deal, but I have this expectation. It's kind of like when you get a soda and you expect Coke and it's Dr. Pepper and it's just this horrible taste because it's not what you were expecting. Fast and Furious, it meets that expectation for me movie-wise. I expect to see drifting and racing and exchanging pink slips, and it stopped being about that. So I stopped watching. I was like, you know what? Tokyo Drift was great to me. Some people don't agree with it, even though it is about racing. But after Tokyo Drift, to me, it's no longer Fast and Furious. It's Bang and Boom. So
they're not good movies by any stretch of the imagination, but they are enjoyable movies for me as a franchise. Like I will watch all of them, but I mean, I can see where you're coming from.
That's why I've never seen any of them.
What?
You haven't seen any of them?
You at least got to watch the first 2, Cody. At least the first 2.
Really good. And I'll say this: I'm not protesting it. I just don't have the desire to go watch them because I know, one of them had a tank involved. Bro, you ain't finna race. You're not racing with a tank. You got a tank for other reasons. This isn't racing anymore.
Cody, my favorite movie line ever came from the first Fast and the Furious movie, where the big tough guy tells Paul Walker, "Bullshit, asshole. Nobody likes the tuna here."
He's like, "Why are you here?" "I like the tuna." "Bullshit, asshole. No one likes the tuna here." For real, honestly, like that. The first 2, and maybe even the third one, I think Tokyo Drift, to me are good enough to say you should sit down and watch them. They're fantastic movies, and just see how you feel about them. The first Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and Ludacris are amazing in the first 2. It's just fun to watch.
And it's got Jordana Brewster in it.
Oh my. So what about y'all? I have this huge list. What is there anything y'all feel besides, I guess?
My biggest one is Facebook, and so many people and businesses and everything use Facebook these days that sometimes it's an inconvenience for me, but for my overall mental health, I think one of y'all, I think I finally completely deleted. Hey, doggy. I think I finally officially deleted my page. I don't know if it's still there, but I think the last time I posted anything to Facebook, it was a single status that said, "All right, I'm going to try and come back at least for the football season to enjoy the company and trash talk with all my buddies." And that status was posted in August of 2014. And I have not.
I'm proud of you.
And I have not. It got to where, for my mental health, like it all started. Every time I got on Facebook, I wanted to put my fist through the computer, headbutt my desk. I wanted to scream. I wanted to start fights. And I know for a fact that it's only gotten worse over the last 7 years. And so it's just not a good place for me. Sometimes it is an inconvenience. My chiropractor, they sent out a video lately telling a new stuff they got going on, and all they sent was a Facebook link. And now Facebook is so full of itself that it won't even let you watch a video posted to somebody's profile without being signed in. So there's a lot of companies that do that though, but luckily more companies are starting to make use of Instagram and Twitter, which have much easier ways for me to mute hashtags and certain words. That way I could follow a gaming influencer or a tech influencer that I care what they say when they're talking about tech, but I don't have to see a single thing they ever post about anything political, because I don't follow you for politics. I follow you for computer news. I follow you for gaming news. I don't care what you think about anything else going on in the world. You're an entertainer to me. I'm using your account, giving you views on YouTube. I'm putting money in your pocket to be entertained. And that's what I love about Twitter. That's why I'm on Twitter. I can choose what I see and how I see it. And if I'm curious, I can go search hashtags and I can get news on Twitter, but on my personal timeline, I can completely dictate what I see.
I hear you.
Yeah, I feel you on the Facebook thing. I've taken 2 hiatuses from it in just the last year, where I just couldn't deal with all the crap on there, and you just, like you said, it's just like it's stress you don't need. You
Right.
read that stuff and you don't realize it at first, but then eventually you finally figure out that every time I look at this, I get aggravated. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't need that. So
Every time I
I'll
opened
take a
the
few months
app,
off.
I was getting mad.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. I encourage everybody, unless you are a business owner yourself, do what Cody's done. Start out easy for yourself. Do 1 week without Facebook and see how much of a happier person you are. 1 week without Facebook. You can keep your Twitter, you can keep your Instagram, you can keep your TikTok. Get off Facebook for a week and see how much better your life is.
I can't think of anything else. I mean, I'm not on TikTok either. Um, yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm the only one who's a potato here then. Because
I mean, there's
two
a
of
lot of
those are
stuff I
pretty big
haven't
ones.
seen.
Do what?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen. Like, um, I don't
Fast and
watch
Furious.
Ozark. There's a lot of people
I haven't
that's into
started that either,
that.
but I've heard it's good, but I haven't started that
See,
myself.
I actually tried it. I watched 4 or 5 episodes and I just couldn't get into it, so I quit watching it. But yeah, everybody says it's really good, but I haven't been able to get into it.
A show has to be really good to draw me in, and I'm not saying all shows are bad, but even shows that I like that aren't excellent or full of potty humor, one or the other, it has to keep me drug in. Kaylee Kuko's new show, the flight attendant. I'm halfway through it. I've seen 4 episodes, and the last time I watched an episode was like a month and a half ago. Like, why haven't I watched another single episode in 6 weeks? Because I don't want to make the time for that. There's other stuff I would rather do. So shows that I'm watching have to drag me in. I have to have like the new Mighty Ducks show on Disney Plus is really well done. I like the franchise, so I'm interested in it, but it is also something now that me and my daughter do every Sunday afternoon. When we're eating, or every Sunday night, we're eating dinner, me and her watch the new episode of Mighty Ducks. Cody's falling asleep. We might have to wrap this up soon.
I was just listening. and thinking, trying to think of some other stuff.
But yeah, a lot of shows I have to be really, really interested in to keep up with them. That's why everybody's like, well, you hadn't watched this, and it's like the all the Avengers Disney Plus shows. Like I heard that WandaVision got really good after their horrible, trashy episode 1 that did no good to keep anybody interested. That screwed me up. I still haven't watched the second episode, and that show's over. That show's done. I have not watched it because that first episode was so trash that I haven't brought my, and I trust the opinions of the people that told me that it got better and that it turned out really good, but I haven't watched it because the first episode was trash. So I haven't watched any more of it. All right. We will move on to our final segment tonight. And you're going to have to explain this. Daily life left or right. Steven, you're leading this whole episode. So tell us what this is.
So I went with daily life left or right because it had like a little ring to it. It almost like it's like a rhyme to go with it, but it's really not like a left or it's the idea is like a decision, right? So everything you do is a process, and for example, one of my questions is when you make a grilled cheese, in what form do you do it? Do you butter the toast and put it on there, or do you put the butter in the pan and then throw the bread on top of it while it toasts?
Honestly, I do both. Depends on if I. It depends on if I want it. It depends on if I want it fast or if I want it perfectly toasted. If I want it fast, then I just drop the butter in the pan. I let it start melting. Drop the sandwich in there. Then I'll lift it up with a spatula. Drop another little dab of butter in there and flip it over. If I want it that perfect golden brown, then yeah, I'll take the time to get the butter perfectly smeared out. Put it down, and while it's cooking, smear it perfectly on the other side. Yeah, it depends on my mood.
I could agree with that. So that was just an example. I always butter my bread first. But throwing it on the pan is an efficient way to do it. I did that when I was a kid until I realized that there's a prettier way to get it done, and it's more of an OCD thing for me, I guess. I want to make sure it's pretty, like you said. But the next one is I feel there's only one answer, and if you answer the other way, you might be a psychopath. Do you poop first or shower first?
Poop first. If you absolutely,
Okay.
so that way you can clean your crack. If I get the belly grumbles while I'm taking a shower, I just leave the shower running, take a quick shit, and get back in the shower so I can wipe my ass off and make sure it's clean.
Do you save toilet paper and just clean up in the shower, or do you?
No, I still can't. Here lately, I've had a lot of cliffhangers and mud butts, so like I try to get as much of that off as possible. I want to just clean my crack. I don't want the doo-doo water running down my legs.
Pure gold. I love it. So the when you get dressed in the morning, do you put your socks on first or your pants on first?
Socks.
Pants.
Pants. Yeah. So I'm with Alan. Like I'll put my underwear on, but before I put my pants on, I'll sock it. So I have my underwear and my socks, and then I'll slide my pants on over it. It's just sometimes my pants are tight, so it's hard to get my foot up and stuff like that. So I got to sock first.
My problem is I have a lot of fur in my house because I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I'm real OCD about my socks. I don't want to get fur on them. So if you walk through my house, no matter how much we vacuum, if you walk through my house in socks, your foot's gonna look like a dog when you get done. Sock. So so I don't like that. So I have to put my sock on right before I put it in my shoe. So I do the balancing thing on one leg, and I put my sock on, and then I put my foot right into my shoe. When I get home, I take my shoe off and pick my foot up, and I take the sock off of it.
Okay.
The sock never touches the ground.
I hear you. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. So we've had this conversation slightly before. When you hop in the car, is it you seatbelt first or you turn on the air first?
Air.
Well, I mean, my air automatically comes on, so I guess it's
Oh,
air
I turn mine off
first.
every time. So, all right, all right.
I'm lucky if I even get my seatbelt put on before I get home. Sometimes.
So, you get home, you got your wallet in your back pocket, your keys in your pocket. Which one do you put up first?
My keys, because I've got a little hanger right by the garage door.
So I actually have a hanger for my keys and a little thing for my wallet too. So I'll keys first for me too, but I'll hang it and then I'll put my wallet out and then I'll put it in the little cubby.
Yeah,
I
wallet
keep them both in the
stays.
same pocket, so I just pull them out at the same time.
Same
Yeah.
time, throw them. Because I know some people have like a table and stuff where they just like take it all out and throw it on a table. But I was curious which one you reach for first. You reach for your keys, and it's easier for you with both of them in the same pocket too, Cody. So, um,
It's
so the
technically
last
I had to open the door with the key, so I may already have the key out.
yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
So and actually, so they say that when you have like your key ring, you shouldn't have too much on it because it's bad for your ignition to have a heavy key dragging down on it. So I actually have two separate key rings. One is for my house keys and some other keys, and my other one is for my car, and then one key that I use at work. So I don't have too much on it because I would have a huge ball of crap. Because I have like a little Destiny figure and a little Deadpool figure and stuff like that. So instead of stacking all that crap on one key ring, it's supposed to be bad for your ignition. I have them separated. I know that's probably weird. I'm sorry.
That's very
I'm getting.
weird.
It's very weird. So the last two are for food. Um, you you order fast food, and they hand you your drink, they hand you your meal, and you're sitting down. You take it to your table at Burger King or wherever you're at. You sit down. What do you grab first? Do you grab something to eat first, or you take a sip of your drink?
I take a sip of the drink to lube everything up.
Lube it up. I like it.
I think I eat first.
Yeah, I usually take a bite of something.
Probably depends.
Oh, and the last one, very very similar question. And this goes for this is like a Hot Wings Friday question. Get your plate with your hot wings and your fries in it. You pop that bad boy open. You smell everything so delicious. You grab a fry first, or you grab a wing to bite into first.
I'll always grab a fry first and then dip it in the lava sauce. They're just right there. I don't have to get my hands messy on the very first bite, so I grab a fry.
Yeah, I'm fry first.
Let me ask you this: is that the same for all your meals? So like if you go to a restaurant and you get steak and potatoes, do you grab a scoop of potatoes out before you cut your first piece of steak? Or you always go to the side first before your main meal?
I think I do actually.
I think I do because you like even like when we go get wings, you've only got like the meal we get usually is 6 wings and a proverbial fuck ton of fries. So I know I can enjoy a lot more fries and then like get the meat.
So you know what's funny about that, and the main reason I wanted to bring up that particular question is that if you think about it, because I'm the same way as y'all, I always grab my side first. If it's fries or if it's something else, I'll go to grab that, take a bite of that before I go to the main. But you don't ever order off the menu for the side. You order off the menu for the main, and it gets there, and you avoid it first. Think about that. Is that not weird?
I think it's saving it for last, right?
Saving the best for last.
It's an
Okay.
effort to make the last bite what you ordered.
I got that, and that's not a bad way to put it. I thought it was so funny thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I'll order this stuff, and when we order on Wing Friday, I'll say, you know what? I want these wings. These sound delicious today. But I open that box, and guess what? I don't bite a wing first. I go straight for them fries. I just thought that was funny.
I'm gonna bite a wing first Friday and just see how it feels.
Oh, you rebel, you.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. But while we were sitting here talking, I did notice something. I forgot to put mine in here, but Steven, you feel like modeling for us for a second?
Yeah.
These are our new shirts that currently only 3 exist. Show them the back. Oh, and you froze right when you're trying to. around.
Show us that back door, Steven.
Anyway, these are our shirts. It's got our. There we go.
There we go.
It's got the full color logo on the back, and it's got our new microphone logo on the front. The first time we will be wearing these in public is going to be in a week and a half at the Steel Panther concert on May 2nd. Like we said, if you're in the Avondale area and you see our beautiful faces on the back of these t-shirts, come say, hey, we want to talk to you. Y'all got anything else before we wrap this up completely?
I thank y'all for watching as always. Give us your thoughts. Let us know what are you not doing that's mainstream.
I forgot to talk about it last week, but I'm sorry y'all didn't get a Masters recap. But Hideki Matsuyama won. Congrats! He's been on the tour for a long time. Good for him. It was a good tournament. It's been a good week. Out.
Y'all have a good week. Peace out.
Peace out.